We will start out with a shout out to Anthony Brown out of Anaheim. Thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to receive your donation on behalf of our Lord Gonzo so that we can continue our vibrational church in the Church of Zealtology as well as the Church of Sine, S-I-N-E. We are doing a review today, not necessarily of DD. I've already talked about this. This is kind of, again, I have if they were priced cheaper, I would have less to complain about. But they're quite expensive. And what did I think it was it yesterday? 4.3. Yeah, all these weird sizes. It's just 11-inch spider, 4.3 voice coil. They did a taller EEPROM surround. Let's see if it's in this. I think it was in the previous page. I think I had clicked on the 9500 or 9900 series. So, but they used a new cone, and they compared it to their old cone. That's what I was talking about. It says it's got a heat sink, bigger spiders. Learn more. I don't really want to learn more. I don't really want to learn about the history. DD is not really that popular of a brand. It's been popular for like rich SPL dudes. So, but there's the old cone. You can see the thickness is that's about 1.5 millimeters, maybe 1.25 millimeters, and then you can see how it's much thicker here, much stronger. And then that was the old roll, and then they ended up tooling up this. The problem with this design and this shape is that you're going to get a crease right here. That's the flex point. So sometimes it shows up in other parts. But again, the problem with it being, I would call this non-linear, is that you'll wear out the surround. Especially, I would have hoped that they would have splurged for rubber, but they did not. So, but again, their website's real kind of weird to use. I don't know if it's some sort of, that's the latest in the HTML, XTML, XML, or whatever it is. I like old HTML. It's just much easier to navigate. Actually, I wanted to go over the frame. So, thank you to Anthony for providing these samples. A quick note, it uses the 145 millimeter and 155 millimeter bolt hole circles. So it is compatible, I think, with the Lord of Bass 600 ounce motor, which uses a 155. The other cool part about the 155 bolt hole circle, and you can actually access both bolt hole circles through the windows with a tool. So technically this is a removable top assembly, and you can use it with something I would say universally available, like the 600 ounce motor from Lord of Bass. And I think that bolt hole circle, those bolt hole patterns that Lord of Bass is putting on there, they're actually going to reissue a bolted version of the 400 ounce, which I think is going to be it already performs as good or better than something like a Sundown ZV6. So, but back to this one. I wanted to compare it to the TI frames. We have the TI frames on sale for only $65 shipped until the end of the year. I looked at Lord of Bass. Lord of Bass wants $95. That's crazy to me. So, because the price in China did not go up that far, even with tariffs. So, let me move this fan. I hope you guys aren't getting the fan on you. Mine comes with the 127 millimeter bolt hole circle, which is a standard 5-inch. Standard 10-inch spider. We have the spiders. We have a lot of the 3-inch ones. We don't have a lot of the 4-inch ones. But like I tell with a lot of guys, you can open this up to 3.5 if you're using it for a 13W7 motor. And then you can also open it up to 4-inch. We have the quad fat flat leads that are sewn, and they are glued to the top of the spider. This is a 2-layer spider that we use with a silicone center. I do worry about it delaminating because it is a 2-layer, and so we're going to include, for the same price that Lord of Bass charges for their spider, We're going to include this ABS clamp ring that I lay down a bead of glue, lay down another bead of glue, and then I put this on, and then I'm able to clamp it, and the clamps don't stick to the glue. So you can do a pool or a puddle, but again, I don't like using that much CA, and I certainly don't like using epoxy like that. I drill and do number 6 by 32 bolts, socket cap. These are already, the holes are there, so if you just want to tap them, I think you can tap them. I think they're probably drilled for M4, which is very close to the same size as a number 6 standard size. But I wanted to show the difference. So between that and the DD one, I was a little disappointed that DD just gave up on terminals. They were like, you know what? We don't need fucking terminals, and they just do wire. So again, wire is not better. Dave from PSI came up with that one, and he did it just because some frames don't allow for a regular terminal, or sometimes you don't have the I know on some of the brands they use a wider stance terminal, or you don't have single terminals or whatever, and he would just do direct connect, and he's the one that innovated that, and now DD has run with it. So looks like 10 inch is the lower landing, and then it should have even a lower, a slightly smaller one. It looks like you can use a 9 1/4, which is the standard here. So that one, 9 1/4, 10, and then they're 11. What is it? Iron cloth or iron Chinese or whatever it is. Again, these are not made in America. I can tell you that much. The other thing I don't like about this is that it's oversized. So I wanted to look up what the specs were, the cutout. Frame OD with a gasket. The 15 inch is 16 3/4. Yeah, that's too big. The mounting diameter is 15 3/16. Yeah, that's not great because the typical one is 14 1/8. So the problem with going with a DD is that once it's like when I go to your mom's house and I go before you do, which is that I'm going to stretch her out, and then she's going to be all floppy sloppy when you go on top of her. So that's not a great thing. Here is the gonzo cone, and it does not really fit. Goodness. What are you going to do about that? So basically they made a 16 inch frame, which I probably cannot use unless I have special parts from DD. Look at that. So again, that's a dick move. They didn't need to do that. And now I have a bunch of frames that I cannot use because I don't have soft parts for them. So, but I think I can order some samples of something that's oversized. I've been meaning to order some oversized surrounds that what's his name, Andros Ravini, uses to refoam the Rockford T213. He can get surrounds for the 13s, but he makes you ship the whole goddamn thing, and it ends up costing me $1,000. And I'm like, I can just build you a new top assembly for $500, and even back it up with a 3-year warranty, and it's better, and it's removable, and it uses standard parts. But that's just my solution. So, but now we have these. If anybody wants them, I have 4 of them total. I'd love to sell at least 3. If you want to buy all 4, you can take all 4. But I got them, and now that I saw that, it's gonna be a while before I can build them out. So, but again, the only reason to do that is not for performance enhancement, because there's other ways to get performance enhancements within the standard constructs that are already there, the standard sizes that are already available. So, but DD didn't want that. They wanted you to only come to them for soft parts, and so that's what they did. This is what they did. So now that I saw that, I was going to give it like 3 out of 5 stars, but now I'm going to give it like 1.5 stars. Because it's a bit of a turd. And also, this does not need to be this big. They could have gone smaller. Again, used at least like 135. See, again, this is the smallest hole, which is I think it's a 4.5 diameter hole, which again, nobody's using more than 4-inch coils, normal people. But apparently DD is using 4 and 3/4? What was it? What does it say? VCID. 3.35. Oh, 3.35 on the 9900. And then I think it was the 9900, they're using a 4.3. Again, that's dumb. They just did that to, again, it's one of those things where it's a premium brand, but they're one of the few premium brands that sells soft parts. Like JL is like, fuck you. They won't even do it. They'll have you pay them to do it, but only if you show like proof of purchase and you send it back in the original enclosure that you bought it in, and then with a original receipt, and it has to be within a certain time frame. It's so dumb. Again, this is just a money grab. It's very disappointing, especially when it says made in USA. It's like, that's gross. That was completely unnecessary. Now let's see if they did the same frame on the red line, because I talked about the red line a while back. Maybe they discontinued it. I think it was the 700 series that I was looking at. And it was like right in your face. They call it the red line because it's made in China. It's not made in USA. You just can't keep up. So Jacob Fuller was talking about that over at Sundown. Oh, they just put a heat sink on the back. Yeah, these are all. 15 uses a regular 3-inch coil. Mounting diameter 13.8, so that's on the small side. Again, that's dumb too. So, well, again, it's on the small side, so you can always make it bigger. So like if you get the 700 series and then later on you want to upgrade to the either 9500 or the 9900, you got to cut open your enclosure. Again, was that really necessary? I think it's dumb, but again, I'm not, I don't run a big business like this, big fancy pants business. That's not the way I would do it. I'll say that much. But that's it. I hope you guys are having a great Thanksgiving. I am, and I love you guys. Make sure you masturbate, okay? You don't go see a massage parlor, because I know you guys like to sneak out and you go, I'm going out for, whipped cream or whatever, and then, it takes you an hour. It's because you're out fucking prostitutes. Don't do that. Just sit in your car and jack off in a parking lot with nobody around, like a man. Be a man this winter. I love you guys. Bye.